Welcome back to the Testament of Sister New Devil Anime Review Part 4. Yeah, I know I kind of switch on the words, basically what I've been saying, but that's the appropriate title basically for this particular series. Now, this particular review, I was thinking of doing the first 6 episodes, but I figured though, why not do the first 3 of the second season of the show first? Yep, this one's adapted from Book 4 of the series. I'd say it adapts probably most of Book 4. And it's heavily implied it takes place, because if you watch from the OVA from the previous season, it's implied this whole story arc mostly takes place right afterwards. So the ending of episode 3 sets up the very next story arc of the series, which is the Siege of Willowware Castle arc, which is death in book 5. So they probably just started adapting that. Now, what happens in these episodes? Well, with this particular season, we get one voice changeover. Yes, for some reason, I'm not really sure why this is. Despite the fact that the voice doesn't sound much different, Yuki gets new voice actors for some reason. Basara, despite the fact having the same voice actor from the previous season, sounds different. He sounds a bit deeper than he did the previous season. I don't know, maybe because it's been a while since they probably when they did the dubbing for this thing, because looking at apparently this thing was released like a couple of years ago, and maybe he basically got a cold or something. I'm not sure what, but his voice sounded a little different. Yeah, as for Yuki, her new voice actress is Kyla Mills. No, never heard of her at all. Yep. Now, with these hit episodes, Kurumi basically starts living in Basara's house. And the whole point of these episodes is a school festival. You have a school festival come and they're preparing it. We also get used to now a vampire. Yep. Which makes the second series I've watched where they have, well, actually, third series I've watched, they have a vampire in the series. Yep. And here's the thing. The first one, actually, this has happened for several series I've watched where you have a female vampire in the series. Not many of them per se. I mean, I'd say the first noteworthy one is probably Hellsing. That's the first noteworthy one having one. There's also Rosario plus Vampire. High School DxD had a vampire, though it was a boy, not a girl. That was a boy. For Overlord, it was a smoking hot woman. And this one, it's a woman, though it just was a guy. Yep. And, by the way, Basara in the anime does not find out until, episode 3 that even though it's really a girl, is a vampire. Yep. And they're preparing for the school festival. And there's also strange things happening where people are acting completely unnatural, where they're being possessed and they're attacking Basara, and then of course Kumi shows up and saves Basara. And Kumi knows that these people are not acting like themselves, they're not doing this, somebody is basically possessing them to do this. Who is actually doing this is not revealed in episode 3, and it's something that completely happens completely out of the blue, like who the heck the actual villain is. I mean, there's some hints of this, but not really. There's some hints here and there. Also, when Basara sees Chatsuro, the smoking hot nurse, he talks to her briefly. Now, in the actual book itself, they do have a brief conversation about let's just say their one-night encounter with each other. The one where they actually had sort of a sexual pleasure in a bathroom. Of course, this is a Japanese bathroom, not American bathroom. Yeah, in the anime, they don't mention it at all. It's implied they're going to explore it later, but they don't. Well, not in these episodes per se. Of course, she doesn't show up again until she's actually absent for quite a while, actually. But don't worry, she's going to come back after these 3 episodes. And he basically says to join the school festival executive committee, which was noteworthy in the light novels themselves, that he was actually nervous joining school clubs because of all the scars he has. They might actually turn him down. And basically also the school council president basically is involved with this committee as well. There's the three guys basically who Basara has seen before, who are fans of Mio and Yuki, and they're jealous. Excuse me. And then of course, then he starts picking a fight with Nonao. I think actually the school president, of course, Basara steps in, stops him, and looking at the fight is broken up by a teacher, and then, of course, I think it's Nonao, basically standing by the door, basically eyes turn red, and then they start acting really weird, and they start walking to the principal's office, basically explain this. Basra goes off someplace else. Oh yeah, and Basra was told by him, stay away from the school teacher, the school nurse. Despite the fact that there's nothing, despite the fact that what he is saying is complete false. Yeah, it's revealed in episode 3 what was the reasoning for this. Yep. School festival goes off a hitch. And then all of a sudden something really weird happens. They do like a 3-leg race basically. Basra, he has Yuki and Mio tied up. And then it turns into a sexual encounter. I'm like, what the heck is this? They're in the middle of public. They're in public. Would they be embarrassed by this? No, it's just a dream by Maria. Yep, she's basically fantasizing about that. The 3-leg race did happen, but the sexual encounter thing, that was all in her head. Yep, all in her head. And of course, that's everybody started acting really weird. Of course, they also have Kumi, who also, when she first showed up, this is of course prior to the event, she had put under the curse of similar to what the master servant pact basically is. And then she starts experiencing pleasure. And then, of course, she's stripped down to underwear, and then, of course, Basra pleasures her. I'm not going to go full detail, basically. Oh, yeah, and also her weakness is her armpits. Yep, revealed by Yuki. Why not? She is her sister, after all. So, yeah, Basra's got about 5 women he's pleasuring. Okay. Yep, but that happened the day before this whole thing happened. And, of course, Kumi sent all these, and I think it's now. And, of course, now basically incorrectly assumes that Basra's here to kill him. Well, her, actually. Of course, nope, not real at all. He has no desire to kill her at all because they reveal later that apparently she was basically she suffered from prejudice because she's a vampire. Because apparently some humans don't like vampires very much, so they think they're all bloodthirsty killers, so they have to kill them all. Yep. Oh, and by the way, who's actually behind all this? The teacher. Yes. Whose real name is Ars, I think his name is. And he is revealed to be a god. And he has a thing for Chatsuru. He's very protective of her unjustly. Yeah. And when she confronts him about this, because at one point he kidnaps the student council president, holds her hostage while also having her unconscious, and then he chops off Basra's arm. Like, what? Yeah, he chops Basra's arm, and eventually Basra picks up his sword, somehow grows back his arm. Like, puts like a metal arm on him, then eventually, I think puts his arm back somehow, and basically goes full like blow attacking him, and then he's stopped by chains, and that's when Chatsuru comes in. Crystal, yeah, she comes in, and she basically confronts him about this nonsense, and like, you think it's just me? Nah. He has the blood of somebody I know. You are a terrible person. I'm going to kill you. So she kills him. Oh yeah, and also she puts the credit toward Basra for killing him. And of course, then we have sort of a fantasy moment, basically, where she took him down, then he apparently took him to the nurse's office. Received pleasure. Nope, it was all a dream. Yep, that whole sequence was a freaking dream. Because she proceeded to strip naked right in front of him and just basically pleasure each other. Yeah. And of course he gets down. Of course he gets taken back to everybody. And then she's not seen again for a while. They go home. Everything's mostly... And of course he talks to Nanao about this later. About basically their encounter. And they smooth out with stuff with each other. And then of course they go home. And then once again we have more of the sexual pleasure stuff. Until Maria's sister shows up. Because Mio has been summoned by the Moderate faction. Yeah, we also see stuff going on in Demon Realm. Well, also, basically, the first episode of the season picks up where the last episode, not the OVA, the last episode of the season left off, where you see Jin confronting Leohart. And the first episode has a full battle between the two of them. And basically, you have him like taking out like a building. Of course, there's someone falling. I don't know who this person is. Probably gonna reveal later. And And of course, then he gets away, and of course, Leohard's sword is damaged, and then eventually is seen repairing it later. And of course, there's a battle with the moderate faction with the council. And the way they're described, it's like a bunch of old men basically doing. They have all these strange ideas. I'm like, old men having strange ideas, and nobody likes it at all. Does this sound like Vince McMahon from WWE, or I don't know, people who run some people, older people who run the Oscars? Yeah, this is stereotypical, basically. Probably a play on that. I have no idea because they don't show the council in these episodes. They're probably gonna show it a little bit later when they get to the very next episode. Which, by the way, when it gets to book 5, when they have that, because book 6, I think book 6 is like a series of like short stories. Yeah, and like 7 basically is a continuation of book 5. Now I'm hoping because I'm hoping that they don't do with this season what they did with what the Air Studio did with season 3 with High School DxD, where they just make stuff as they go. I don't think they will. Yeah, but oh no, oh yeah, and also the final episode of this 3-parter ends with Basra and his group going off the Demon Realm. Basically, I'm talking to Maya for a while about it, and she agrees to go, and everybody basically is by her side, and then Maria's sister opens a portal, and they walk right in, and that's where the episode ends. I gotta say, for the opening 3-episode season, these episodes are actually pretty good. It does establish some stuff and hit some stuff later. Like apparently Basra's got 2 mothers. Yeah, that's not explained into book 8. In case you're wondering, how do I know this? Because I read book 8. Yep. Yeah, otherwise that's pretty much it for this particular review. Now, what are reviews are planned for today? Well, let's see. My Hero Academia, case closed. One Punch Man, I'm reading a new chapter manga while I'm putting this one up. And I'm also going to do more of this series today, okay? Produce next view. Bye.